morning, children. Today we are going to start with the second chapter of science, that is lifestyle of animals. In this chapter, we will learn about the various features of animals, various characteristics of animals that help them to survive in their particular environment, right? But before starting with the main concept, we need to understand the meaning of the term habitat. That what is habitat? As you can read out, habitat is the natural living place of an animal, right? So basically it is a place where an animal can give birth to its young ones and bring them up safely. For example, the habitat of lion is forest. The habitat of camel is desert. The habitat of fish is ocean, seas and pond. Right? So the natural living place of animals, where animals lives naturally, is called habitat. Now habitat can be of two types. It can be terrestrial habitat and it can be aquatic habitat. Now what is terrestrial habitat? Terrestrial habitat is a habitat of animals on land. Right? The places where animals lives on land are called terrestrial habitat. And what are those? Those are forest, desert, mountain and polar region. Now, what is forest habitat? What is forest? Forest is an area which is covered by the dense trees. Dense trees means so many trees and other plants, and many animals live in the forest like monkey, lion, bear, etc. Also birds, they also live in the forest. They have their nest located on the tree, right? So forest is a home of about 80% of the terrestrial animals. Now we will talk about another terrestrial habitat, that is a desert habitat. Now what is desert? Desert is a sandy area which do not have sufficient water sources or green vegetation. Green vegetation means plants and trees. They have very few plants, they have very few trees, and amount of rainfall is also less. Basically the climate in desert is very hot, right? And days are hot but night are very cold, right children? Now the animals which are found in this area, as you can see in the picture, the very common example is a camel. Basically the animals which live in the deserts like Gila monster, squirrels, snakes, mouse, rat, all these are the animals which are very common in the desert. All of them have thick skin. Why do they have thick skin? To avoid the water loss through the sweating. Already there is a deficiency of water. Water is not available in the desert. So to prevent that loss of water from their body, they have a thick skin. Also camel, you can see camel store fat in their hump, which give them energy when they do not get food for a long time, when they do not get water for a long time. Camels, they also have a thick hair in their ears and long eyelashes, which help them to protect their ear and eyes from sand. So these are the certain features of the animals living in the desert which help them to survive in the desert. Now another type of habitat is the mountain habitat. Mountain habitat means the mountain area. The temperature is very low on the top of the mountain. As we go high, oxygen is also less. You might have seen the people who climb the mountain, they always carry oxygen cylinder with them, because as we go up in the mountain, on the mountain, the level of oxygen decreases because of the air pressure decreases. Now many animals, they live in the mountain area like sheep, goat, yak, right? Now what are the features which help these animals to survive in such conditions, such extreme conditions? As we know, temperature is very low. So basically the animals which live in the mountain area, they have a thick fleek. Fleek means they have a thick hairs on their body. Now what do they do? These hairs, they conserve heat. They don't allow their body heat to go into the external environment, to go outside the body, so that they can keep their body warm. Other than that, mostly the animals which live in the mountain habitat have large chest. They have a large lungs, so that they can take in oxygen, large amount of oxygen at one go, so that they can deal with the low level of oxygen on the mountains, right? Now the next kind of terrestrial habitat we are going to talk about is the polar region, right? Polar regions are the regions which are at very top and bottom of the world. It means towards the north and the south pole. These are the region which remain covered with the snow throughout the year. There is a lots and lots of snow, and trees cannot grow in these regions. Now, as you know, temperature may go beyond -35, -36. So temperature is so low, then how the animals which live in this area, they survive? Because they have special features which help them to survive, right? Now you can see the picture that animals which are commonly found in the polar region are penguins and polar bears. Both of them have thick furs on their body, which conserve heat for them, keep their body warm. Other than that, the animals which are found in the polar region, they have a thick layer of fat under the skin. Their skin has a thick layer of fat which does not allow their body heat to go into the surrounding, which also helps them to keep their body warm. Okay. Now the next kind of habitat we are going to talk about is another, that is aquatic habitat. We have finished with the terrestrial habitats. Now we will talk about the aquatic habitat. Aquatic habitats are the habitats of animals in water. For example, now this is again divided into two parts: marine habitat and freshwater habitat. Marine habitat includes sea, ocean, right? And freshwater habitat includes river, lake, pond. Now the marine habitat animals are whale, octopus, fish. Freshwater habitat animals are basically fish, frog, salamander, etc. Right? As you can see the pictures, this octopus is shown here. Its habitat is marine. It is found in the sea. It is not found in the pond or the river. And above it you can see the fish, which is found in both the habitat, marine as well as freshwater habitat. So we are finished with the types of habitat, children. Now we are going to talk about a new concept in the chapter, that is adaptation. Now what is adaptation? As you can read out, adaptation is the process by which animals make themselves fit for the environment in which they live. It means they themselves have certain features because of which they can live in that particular environment. For example, fish. Fish has gills. Fish has fins to swim in the water. It has gills to breathe under the water, because of which it can live inside the water, and we human beings cannot live it. Why fish cannot live on the land? Because it does not have that adaptation. It does not have that lungs like human beings to breathe into the air. Fish has gills to breathe into the water. Right? Why human beings cannot survive in the desert area for a long time without water? Because they do not have that adaptation of drinking lots and lots of water at one go, which camel has. Why human beings cannot survive in the polar region? Because they do not have fur to protect from the extreme cold conditions. They do not have thick layer of fat under their skin as penguins and polar bear has. Right? So adaptation is basically the presence of certain things or certain characteristics, or you can say features, inside the animals, because of which they can fit for the environment in which they are living. Now there are many ways by which animals they adjust themselves, they adapt according to the environment. Like they can change their body temperature, right? They may have different feeding habits, they may have another kind of breathing organs. But in this chapter we are going to talk about a very important type of adaptation, that is body covering, right? Most of the animals, they have a body covering which help to protect them from different weather conditions and protect them from the hunter and other animals. For this we will see the example of snake, tortoise and peacock. For example, you can see this is a picture of a snake. These are the scales which are present on the snake and help them to move and prevent water loss from their body. This is a type of adaptation which is found in the snake, which help them to survive in the desert. These scales do not allow the body water to go out, to move out, right? And these have scales, and these scales also help them to move. So this is a adaptation in scale. Then next, this is a shell which is found in the tortoise, right? It is also found in the snail. This is also a body covering of an animal. Now how these shells are helpful? These shells, they protect them from the enemies. As soon as they feel that they are under danger, they withdraw their arms and limbs inside the shell to protect themselves. In this way the body covering help them. Other than that, this is a feather of peacock, right? You might have seen a peacock has feathers. This is a body covering of peacock and the birds. It helps them to fly and keep their body warm. Other than that, some animals have fur on their body, like sheep, goat, polar bear we have seen. Now what is the role of these fur? This is also a type of body covering. They help them to keep their body warm in the low temperature. So this is how body covering is a type of adaptation, a type of feature which help animals in one or another way. That's all, students. I hope you might have understood the concepts very clearly. If not, then please see the video again and again and try to listen the things very carefully. All the best. Thank you so much.